After the weekend of beautiful football, some players have been called up on international duty in the World Cup qualification matches, while Chelsea Enzo Maresca left us with tactical masterclass, and Estevao William last-minute stunner sank Liverpool at Stamford Bridge, and that left lots of Chelsea fans in the euphoria of joy as the players go into international duties. But then, lots of reaction actually trailed that particular victory against Liverpool at Stamford Bridge. And in this video, I'll be bringing you some of the reaction that trailed that particular victory and some of the latest updates about Chelsea Football Club. So stay tuned as I take you through the latest news in Chelsea. Okay, let's begin with one report that I've been making the rounds, and it's all about speculation of none other Antonio Semenyo. Check this out from Feature JustNet. Chelsea are reportedly readying a bid of €90 million for Bournemouth forward Antoine Semenyo after his electric start to the season. He has been directly involved in 9 goals in 8 games for the Cherish this season. Well, this report I've been making the rounds over the weekend, and up till now, the speculation is everywhere. But I want to let you know that Chelsea have not indicated interest, nor Chelsea preparing any bid for Antonio Semenyo. Rumors like this paddle around when some players are actually doing well, and you just see some of the media outlets. You can hear the source according to Transfer Newsline. The source is whether Fisher JustNet suggested that Chelsea are interested in Semenyo. It's not true. Chelsea have not put up any bid. Chelsea have not indicated any interest, and Chelsea are not preparing any bid for Semenyo. So you can just take that with a pinch of salt, as Chelsea have not indicated any interest in any player, let alone preparing a bid for Semenyo. Okay, lots of reaction actually trailed that particular victory against Liverpool at Stamford Bridge, and that have actually put Chelsea's season back on track. But then lots of talking points have been trailing in after that particular victory. And one man that was the man of the match, talking about Moses Caicedo, the score is stunner in the 14th minute against Liverpool. In his post-match conference, I have this to say on Estevao William. Moses Caicedo on Estevao. You can see on the pitch, even in training, he is so good. He is showing his quality. We have tried to help him because the Premier League is so different to Brazil. And yeah, he's making an impact here. We are so happy with him. Definitely. Personally, I am so happy to be a Chelsea fan and also having Estevao William in Chelsea. And putting on the Chelsea color is also a pride for Estevao William. And I must say, though he's 18, but believe me, his football intelligence is beyond him. Estevao William is a talented footballer, quick on the foot, very skillful, very physical, and always ready to give his best to the club whenever he's called on to do that. He was called up in the game against Liverpool at the 74th minute, and Estevao William shone like a million star. This is not the first time he is doing it. He did it against West Ham when Chelsea visited the Olympic Stadium, defeating West Ham by 5-1. Estevao William was brilliant in that particular encounter. So the 18-year-old is very much prepared and ready to carry Chelsea all the way. And I want to believe Enzo Maresca will begin to look towards the angle, towards the direction of the 18-year-old Brazilian international, because the guy have got a lot to offer this football club. So Moses Caicedo went on to say, when he was asked about Chelsea's chance of lifting the Premier League title, here's what Moses Caicedo also have to say. It is too early to say we're going to win the league. For sure, we want to win the Premier League. We will take it step by step because it is tough, but we are going to do our best. Sometimes it's not really ideal when players sound like this. Believe me, it's my personal opinion. Moses Caicedo said it's too early to say we're going to win the league. Bro, it's not early. The last time we won the league was in 2016. And next year it will be 10 years, a decade since we last lifted the trophy. And ever since the coming of the Clay Lake, Todd Bowley, Chelsea have spent huge amounts of money in signing of players, and it's time this got to show. We've got the squad, we've got the team, and so far, Enzo Maresca is beginning to show touch of Enzo Maresca's ball, talking about his tactical display when it comes to games. We have seen Enzo Maresca actually put up some tactical masterclass. We saw that in the Club World Cup and also in the game against Liverpool. I mean, it was typical even when Chelsea were limited in their key defensive players. But Chelsea went on in a tactical display set up by Enzo Maresca and actually defeated the defending champion by 2-1. So, Moses Caicedo saying it's too early to say. It's not early. We actually started the season very well, but along the line we slipped. And we actually slipped against Brentford, against Manchester United, and against Brighton and Hove Albion. These were matches, ordinarily, we ought to have picked all 3 points and be on top there, alongside with Liverpool and Arsenal. But then, the season is just 7 weeks old, and 7 rounds of matches old, and we believe there is still a lot to play for. If we can continue in this very pace, I believe Chelsea still have a lot to give, and Chelsea is still going for something this season. So that is what Moses Caicedo actually said. And he also went on to say this when he was asked about, when he was being compared or asked about Makalele and N'Golo Kante. This is what Moses Caicedo said. Check this out. I am far from N'Golo Kante or Makalele in what they did here. They achieved a lot, but I'm going to keep working because I want to become a legend here. Big ups to Moses Caicedo. With what you are doing already, bro, you are actually on track to becoming a Chelsea legend. No doubt, the players you actually mentioned, Makalele, N'Golo Kante, and also Michael Essien, that actually played that position, did great stuff for Chelsea, and I believe you will not be an exception. That number 4, defensive midfield role, Chelsea have actually had some couple of good players that have actually played in that particular position and have been doing excellently well. The likes of Makalele, N'Golo Kante, Michael Essien, Ramirez, Lassana Diarra do not have that good stint at Chelsea, but went to Real Madrid and actually did great stuff. Chelsea have had good players when it comes to that defensive midfield role, and N'Golo Kante have added to that ranks. And like he said, he will continue to work hard and do his best in order to be, and he wants to become a legend here in the club. So all the best to Moses Caicedo, one man who have actually done great stuff this season. So far, no player have actually won man of the match this season. 3 more than Moses Caicedo. So big ups to Moses Caicedo, and we hope to see you continue to do great stuff with Chelsea Football Club. Okay, still on the news concerning Estevao William, the young international, the young Brazilian international that actually sink Liverpool over the weekend. Just 18. The initiative of Estevao William is mind-blowing. Check this out. Estevao William, 18, plans to launch a social institute in his hometown in Brazil. It will offer programs free of charge in education, health, sport, etc. It will serve around 3,000 children. Wow. At just 18, Estevao William is coming up with such an initiative. Well, I must say, Estevao William is one player that is very humble, came from a very, respectful background. His father is a priest, and the humility in the player is showing all over him. This initiative is what somebody, an adult of around 25 to 30 years should be thinking, contributing his own social responsibility in the society. But at 18, this is what Estevao William wants to come up with. He wants to come up with a social institute in his hometown in Brazil that will offer programs free of charge in education, in health, and in sport to over 3,000 children. Respect to this young lad. I mean, this is just what this just got to show the humble background of which this young guy is actually coming from. And it's not the type that actually go out with his friend for clubbing. At his age, well educated, and he's got some stuff up there. And this thinking is really mind-blowing. And respect to Estevao William. So, let's take a look at this report that actually came out about Chelsea FOS, talking about front of shirt sponsors. So far, Chelsea is playing on this season without a front of shirt sponsors. But here's the latest report coming regarding that FOS sponsors of Chelsea football jersey. Kieran Maguire on Chelsea's FOS Holdup. The price that Chelsea have been quoting to sponsors has been one where that everybody else has walked out the door. It is a case of just getting that deal to get both parties. Chelsea fervently believed that having won the Premier League in 2016 and therefore becoming the world champion in 2025, that the value of the club is significantly higher than what would appear to be the case from an advertiser's perspective. Well, I think in this, when it has to do with the front of shirt sponsor, Chelsea is actually the one making it tough for advertiser. Haven't placed the level of the club very high. Haven't won the Club World Cup and talking about winning the Premier League in 2016. The Premier League is damn far. By next year, it will be a decade that Chelsea last won the Premier League. We won the UEFA Champions League in 2021. That is even more closer for you to, if that will be a criteria for you to use and rank Chelsea's value when it comes to the sponsors that actually want to get the deal done. But then, I think Chelsea is asking around £60 million while the sponsors are bidding around 40. And that is what has actually delayed the deal for Chelsea having a front of shirt sponsors. But in the coming days, we're going to see how this will definitely play out. Wow. Let me bring you up to speed with some of Chelsea's injuries list. And all of these players were, some of these players were actually out injured while we take on Liverpool, while some actually played, started the game, and at some point they got injured. Take a look at this Chelsea injury list. Reece James, leg injury. Possible return date is October 2025. He played the game against Liverpool, but at the end he had that leg injury. Cole Palmer, groin issue. Possible return date might just be after the international break. Tosin Adarabioyo, calf injury, also to return after the international break. Wesley Fofana, concussion, hopefully to be available in Chelsea's next Premier League encounter. Benoit Badiashile actually picked a knock in that game against Liverpool and was substituted at the 55th minute. But still, nothing serious about Benoit Badiashile, as he might possibly return after the international break as well. George Achampong also picked a knock in that particular game against Liverpool over the weekend. George Achampong actually partnered Benoit Badiashile in that particular game. And both centre-backs actually picked up injury. And Reece James and Gerald Atu ended up that game as Chelsea's centre-back. And Chelsea went on to defeat the defending champion by 2-1. So, George Achampong likely to return after the international break. Andres Santos, muscle injury. Possible return date, October, after the international break. Liam Delap, hamstring injury, TBC, could be early 2026. Well, TBC actually means to be confirmed. And they went on to say it could be early 2026. And this is one injury that lots of speculation have been on. It will be out for 6 weeks. It will be out for 8 weeks. It might be out for 10 to 12 weeks. And here, in this particular report, to be confirmed, and possible return date is January. And I think that is just when Liam Delap will be available for Chelsea. Having not gone under the knife, I mean, they want to give him much of time for that hamstring to actually heal, since a scan for the second time shows that it wasn't something too serious. So, Dario Esugo, thigh injury, actually went under the knife and is going through recovery stage. Possible return date, early 2026. Might be in January, it might just be late January or early February. But then the report having that Dario Esugo might just be returning early 2026. And finally, on that list is Levi Colwill, that actually sustained ACL in our second preseason friendly game against AC Milan at Stamford Bridge. Nobody touched him, just on its own. He felt that, and when he was actually taken through the scan, the diagnosis, it shows that Levi Colwill sustained ACL, arterial cruciate ligament. And possible return date is in the summer of 2026. So, on the case of Reece James, having sustained that leg injury after that game, this is what the report went on to say. Reece James' injury is not the cut on his leg. However, it is not serious. And his withdrawal from England is viewed as precautionary. Definitely, having showed that sign, I think it's better Thomas Tuchel have that respect for Reece James and actually allow him to be withdrawn from England duty to take that rest for precautionary measures, because definitely England will prefer Rhys James to be in the World Cup for them than to miss out by playing in the qualifying matches. And England already stand a very big chance making the World Cup next year. So that is the latest on Chelsea injury list. Now, let's check out this report on Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer have officially made the word Cole Palmer is intellectual property, and that was approved by the body last week, Friday. Check out this report from The Athletics. Cole Palmer has successfully trademarked the term Cole Palmer. His application submitted to the UK government's Intellectual Property Office in November was approved on Friday. So, the word Cole Palmer, C-O-L-D, Palmer, is now Cole Palmer's trademark, and it has been registered with the UK government intellectual property. So it's Cole Palmer personal intellectual property. So you might be sued if you actually use that wrongly. And big ups to Cole Palmer. I believe it's one of the greatest stars, and Chelsea are very happy to have him. And we wish you quick recovery to get back into the field soon. So Cole Palmer have actually trademarked Cole Palmer as his personal intellectual property. So, what do you make of all the latest that is happening at Chelsea so far? And what do you make of that Chelsea victory against Liverpool at Stamford Bridge? Were you pleased with Estevao last-minute turner? And again, who was your star man in that particular game? Lots of Chelsea players actually impressed me. Look, the likes of Marc Cucurella, Cole Palmer, Estevao, Rhys James, Benoit Badiashile, one man that actually did great stuff even before he got injured. So, who was your star man in that particular encounter? Drop your thoughts down below. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Thank you very much for watching. Catch you in my next video. Bye.